Well, we're live. It's official. Welcome to the Divinity Said Show.
With me, beautiful.
We didn't practice this. Okay. We were talking in Discord before this show. A part of me is like, did we say all the things?
No, we didn't.
No? Okay.
Because
So-
you've got to
So we are going to talk today about Karen Read because there's no court today. What else are we going to do with ourselves?
right. I mean, there's no court till Tuesday, though. That's the thing. And I think half day Tuesday is the only day we've got a court.
I know, it sucks. So it's basically an all-day gen day. Am I right?
Yeah. Hopefully she'll be starting cross.
Yes. Okay, so to start things off, to make the video rewatchable, should we just start by talking about what the Karen Read case even is? Probably. Okay. Okay, so Karen Read is on trial she's accused of second-degree murder of her boyfriend, who was a Boston cop called John O'Keefe. And the state says that let's look at her charging document. Oh, I don't have it up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. The state says that she beat him. Let me find out what it says. So this is the indictment. It says she did assault and beat John O'Keefe with intent to murder such person, and by such assault and battery did kill and murder said John O'Keefe. This is what the problem is. I think they overcharged to Karen Read because they're like, she did this shit on purpose. She wanted him dead. And first of all, they're not even attempting to prove it, in my opinion, but that part of it. But to think that this is on purpose is kind of wild. Did operate a motor vehicle and kill somebody with that vehicle. So they say she killed him with her car. On the night of January 29th, January 29th, 2022. So this is 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happened. I didn't know this. I'm learning this week, that originally they were I don't know what they were originally going to charge her with, but it wasn't second-degree murder, and that she was going to plead guilty to that. And then they charged her with the second-degree murder, and she was like, nah, not that. And this is what they said. This is what someone told me in a comment. So take it with for what it's worth. But she said that when Karen took her plea back is when she had Yannetti, and Yannetti contacted Turtle Boy, and Turtle Boy contacted Turtle Writers, and Turtle Writers went to Julie. This was all about Julie Nagel, Julie's house, and that's why Julie was super pissed during her testimonies, because it all stems back to them this is a theory. What do you call it? They not utilize, but they activated their minions according to the state.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I believe any of that. But this week, so last week on my YouTube channel, if you subscribe, then you probably saw my reenactment of the crime scene. I showed you in Discord. Okay, so in the morning, I was sitting in Discord with my friends, and I was like, it was like an hour later, and I remembered that I had made it. I was like, you guys, I made a reenactment last night. It was just as cringe as I thought it was going to be. My 8-year-old taught me... My 8-year-old taught me how to use Canva and get the things to move. And so I was like, okay. And I used it, but it looked a lot like this. Let me make this so you can see it. Can you see this?
Yes.
So these are all the people. They were all in this house, and I moved them around. But this week, every single person from the reenactment, except for this guy here, I don't know where their faces went. But except for Brian Higgins, who drives that white Jeep, testified. So in my reenactment, I had could question it if Julie was right here and all of this different stuff. Now we know, because we've heard from Julie. This is Julie. By the way, I made them all into little versions of themselves.
Yeah, that's Julie.
That's truly. So do you want to? Okay, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Do you want to give your theory about what happened here? Do you have a theory?
I've got lots of theories, and none of them involve Karen hitting him with the car.
None of them.
No.
Okay, so then as far as broken taillight, you believe that?
Just because of the fact that he doesn't have the injuries to his body that would come along with being hit at such a force to break the taillight.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't math.
I agree with that. I don't understand the broken taillight, but I also don't think she hit his car hard enough to break her taillight. Maybe crack it, I guess, if the bumper wasn't doing its job. But it's so hard. It's so hard to figure out how did the damn taillight break.
Mm-hmm. It's
Now, to be fair, we haven't heard from a few witnesses. We haven't heard from the expert that's going to look at her car data and tell us what her car did that night.
Yeah, that's true.
I looked up Lexus. Lexus has really, really, really good navigation. I think it's like one of the best as far as cars goes. And so I think they are going to have a pretty good idea of exactly where and when she was, where she was. I don't know about if it'll be like more black box data telling us what gear she was in and what speed she was going and all of that. Because, you know, you could add something easily to your cars that tell you that how your braking is. It's not like being a Lexus, and it's an LX, so it's a better version of this SUV. I think it probably had all the bells and whistles. But also, did it have a backup sensor?
Yeah.
Must not have, because she hit John's car that day.
Yeah, it did. And it
right?
worked. Yeah.
It did?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? Then she hit John's car on purpose. Because if she's backing up and the sensor's going off, when she hits that car, she doesn't even just sit there. She hits it, she puts it in gear, and she drives away. And that makes sense if you're so worried about your boyfriend, but what, like, I don't know. If that part doesn't make sense.
But if that's the case, that if, let's say, for example, the sensors weren't working, but they've been proven to be working. There's, the car's been tested and there was nothing wrong with the sensors. So if she ignored the sensors and hit the car, is it possible then that she ignored the sensors and hit John? If she hit John.
But maybe, I don't know, because I live in California and we don't get snow where I live. But maybe the sensors don't work so well when it's snowing like that.
That's something that we need to look up.
You think?
Yeah. That's something that we need to look up, because if it is a thing, it wouldn't just have happened to her.
Good morning. I forgot to say good morning to chat. Nova and King Yeti are both on the YouTube side. Good morning. Lexus makes the best luxury vehicles, period. Yeah, I looked up Lexus as far as that went, and it seemed like there's top of the line. Again, that's why I think it's going to matter when we hear the expert on that. Let me say hi to the other chat in Rumble. Vicky, good morning, Vicky. Good morning. Our attorney, Naughty One, is here. So if we fuck up, you can call her. She said they were trying to force her into a plea deal. It was a DUI type of charge. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. The issue was that people were getting pissed. She got a deal for killing a cop. That is where the bigger charges came from. Here's what happened. He was only supposed to go in for a few minutes. He went in and never came out alive. Oh, that's right. I do remember that. He was supposed to go in and come back and tell her if this was the right house or something. And so she waited. That's why she was there the extended period. And when he never came back, she's like, whatever, drunk, I guess you're not coming back to tell me, and then drove away. I do remember that being the original story. Am I getting that right?
I don't remember that, but that adds a bit more weight to what I was thinking about him going to the house. And
yes.
Yeah.
Into the house. Yeah. Beautifully. And I had our own little debate before this. Don't be afraid to say it. I'll be nicer to you right now. I promise.
Now, but it was something about him taking 36 steps and Karen, Jenna
Yes.
taking 36 steps to the house.
Right.
At the time she's allegedly supposed to have arrived, he took 36 steps from a further distance, but because he's taller, longer stride, it would have roughly, please don't get at me, been about, not you, everyone else.
Okay.
36 steps-ish to the house. So something happened when he got to the door of the house, and it involved somebody because he had marks, he's got cuts on his face that line up with being in a fight. And the dog then got involved as well, which knocked him off his feet. The dog got involved because he's a stranger, and people that he knows, people that Chloe knew, were being aggressive. So that gave her the cue to be aggressive as well.
So for some reason, Julie Nagel is like on the take. I don't care. Sue me for that. My attorney into chat. But seriously, she went out of her way to tell us about the black blob that she saw through the. For some reason, Jen McCabe went out of her way to tell us she drives a Denali. So those black windows are tinted. Julie is the first girl to get dropped off of the two girls that gets dropped off that night. In the photo, she's this. So she's in the back of a car. They're already driving. She's probably like telling dude where she lives, giving him directions. She also says that when the dad, Brian Sr., took the dog from the room, that he controlled the dog the whole time with the collar. And the defense is like, yeah, because you had an angry dog. And she's like, in her mind, I feel like it's more like, no, I need to make sure that you guys know that their dog was never out of the sight and didn't actually kill John O'Keefe. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Naughty said they thought it would be funny to scare him. The kid was fighting at the top of the stairs. They let Chloe out and she charged him at the door to the basement, fought her off, and fell down the stairs. Okay, hold on. This could make sense because I'm trying to account for all the variables. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I'm going to get to you. Joyelle said, let's talk about the group chat. For sure, we'll talk about the group chat when Mr. the Cross-Eyed. Do we have a nickname for him?
Will Ferrell, but we've got one for Jen. I've got one for Jen. It's not mine. I'm not going to take credit for it, but Snaggletooth, Jen.
Snaggletooth is sort of like
it's funny,
so obvious.
I like.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling her Jenny with the good hair, but okay. So, I do think Chloe was involved. I don't understand what you're saying about a fight. They let Chloe out. She charged him. So what could have happened is he lets the dog out. John O'Keefe walks into the house. What's her name? Julie could have been in the kitchen, which is how she knows that Brian Sr. walked through there with the dog being held, right? And whatever.
But that's to go out.
She wouldn't have seen John O'Keefe walking in the house is my point, because I have seen the layout and there are a lot of points where you could see a lot of things. But if she's in by the kitchen there, it could be possible that he did come in the house. Everyone's supposedly standing at the front door and looking out the window when he arrives. And so, although Julie is outside, so maybe Julie walks out when John walks in. Like Julie walks out the side door when John walks in the front door.
Yeah.
Because I can't understand why I call them strangers because they're not related, but why they would lie would make no sense. They are drunk. They've been drinking since 7 and it's now midnight.
Yeah, because they can't remember because they were drinking and they weren't. You know, you just go out on a night out, you don't be remembering everything. So they've all had to what they need to remember.
Let me pull up the floor plan really quick because I need you to see this. Let me just get into my evidence folder. Can I have a minute, Yana? Here we go.
Yes, you can.
I got to get to the sidebar. I'm drinking Liquid Death, non-spawn. Here's the floor plan. Okay. Sorry if this is hard to see, but I really want you to look at, this is the, oh, that's as good as it gets. Maybe I can do something like this. I don't know if that made it any bigger. So this is the foyer. There's so many earthquakes happening in California right now. There's been 2 since we've been on here. Okay. They walk into the foyer here. The dining room is to the right. To the right is where everyone says they're looking out the window. Brian Jr. says he's looking out the window. Julie says she's looking out the window. Matt says he's looking out the window, and Jen says she's looking out the window. So there's two windows. So maybe, maybe they're all just looking at the window. They're also simultaneously looking out the front door. That one is for you guys to figure out. But so if they are actually in the kitchen here, and Julie Nagels gets the message from her brother, walks out this side door here, right? And the living room. I thought they were in the study. They've been saying living room, so they easily couldn't have seen the basement. So the basement is way back here. This is the kitchen. This is where Chloe got let out. This is the basement steps. So you go in upstairs or downstairs. So he could have walked in. You go to see, and at the point where Brian Sr. is showing Brian Higgins, the house. They told us Brian Higgins has ever been to the house before, that he's been one time during a cookout. It was COVID. He may have used the restroom, but he's never seen the house. And I believe that. When he's here this day, they're showing him pictures to say, like, this is our family. He's in the Marine. For some reason, Brian Sr. says he takes him upstairs to Brian Jr.'s room to show him photographs. If I already had a theory that he was gay long before this, so that's just not helping. But they could have been getting in a little me time. I don't know what they call it in Massachusetts.
After that long road trip.
They really need to get it out of them. They had some pent up anger from this silly not play fighting at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that they did show Brian around the house. Is the first time he's been at the house. What is downstairs in the basement? Let me get back to my evidence folder.
There's a bathroom.
There's a bathroom. I wouldn't have thrown it away, I don't think. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I'm getting my shit together. This is the basement. So if you're an MMA guy and your big fat friend is over and you've been play fighting at the bar, you think you didn't show him your dope basement with your gym? I'm gonna X it out. So maybe what's her fuck walks out. Sarah's trying to like flirt with Brian Jr. So they're like preoccupied, or the music comes on. Caitlin's there. She's turning on the music, whatever's happening. As there's maybe he goes to show Brian the basement. Brian and Brian are going down as O'Keefe walks into the house. He walks into the house as the mom lets the dog back in from outside, but she's not controlling him. And the dog sees stranger O'Keefe, and then what Naughty said happens. He gets hit. He falls back. All of his injuries are accounted for, but they leave him down there. Nobody knows in the house. And then they take him up out the store. Well, I believe Sarah and Julie, not Julia. She's kind of a liar. I believe Sarah.
I believe Sarah. I believe most of the kids didn't know what was going on, and it was adults conspiring amongst each other to get him out of the house, and then
because I don't know. Originally, though, so in their original stories, they've told this story. Now, this is the third jury they've told this story to. Mm-hmm. They told it to the first grand jury.
Story they've told.
They told it to a second grand jury a year later. So the first grand jury was in April. 4 months after this happened, 3 months really, April of 2022. And then they told it to a grand jury in June of 2023, it sounds like. And now they're telling it to a third jury. So every time their story sort of gets better, they're trying to evolve it to make it make sense.
Yeah. They're building on the script.
Yeah. So originally they said that Chris Albert and Julie Albert went back to the house that night, and now they didn't. Now they didn't go to the house. I think they realized that there was video footage and they couldn't like lie about that. So it says when Karen called Jen, they hadn't cleaned up the mess. They had her take Karen back to John's house while they planted the body out front, and they hadn't had the time to get all his clothes out. I don't think so. I think he'd had to have been outside for much longer to have a body temp of 80. I think that at 3:30, we don't know this yet, but they told us in opening that the plow driver comes by at 2:30 and plows the road, comes back at 3:30, can't plow the road because the edge is sitting there. There's an edge sitting there. Brian Sr. drives an edge.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, carry on with the edge.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. Yeah, so I think that's when they put the body.
When they
but
what they were doing.
Why are Colin and Allie lying? I need to show you this video.
Okay, so while you're talking about that, the fact that Brian didn't have his shoe on, Brian was known for taking shoes off indoors. So he'd taken the one shoe off. John. Sorry, John. Yeah, John was known for taking shoes off indoors. He had that was a rule for his house, for example. So maybe he was taking off the one shoe and back off the other shoe when everything happened. The basement doors open because those two have just gone down there. He ends up falling down, and that's why the shoe's up there. That's why his hat's up there, probably not with the body. They're not thinking about the hat and the shoe until after the fact, and that's how come they find the hat and the shoe outside, because they had to bring it out to make sure that there was nothing of John's inside, even if it mysteriously turned up after we've collected all the evidence, even as shoddily as they did.
Nova says the shoe fell off being dragged around and that men are basement dwellers. I don't think that they planted a body so late. I do believe that happened earlier. Hence the reason the entire basement floor was replaced shortly after being fully renovated. Are we going to learn that about the basement? No, we're not going to learn it about the basement, right? Because we've heard from Nicole and Brian. And they
forget we've got the defense bringing their case as well, so you never know, it might still come up.
I'm just asking if we know if it's on this record, that's all.
So far it hasn't been brought up, no.
I do like the thought, not like it, but it doesn't stick out as being totally bad that he was taking off his shoes just to force a habit in the foyer when that happened, because he would have had to, you could easily lose a shoe getting hit by a car, but his injuries don't look like that happened. He hit his head somewhere very hard. I don't know if I should even show the injuries because I don't want people to be grossed out. They said they renovated it in court. Yes. Okay. I missed that then. So they renovated it before they sold it. Again, I have a devil's advocate problem where I do it a lot, but you would definitely make your house its best before you got rid of it.
Yeah.
To sell a house, it's normal to replace the carpet on the main floor, not replace flooring in the basement. It's a finished basement, though.
It wasn't just the floor; it was the whole floor that was replaced, not just the carpet or the laminate or whatever. They got a whole new floor.
So you're saying it was carpet floor, and they pulled up the regular floorboards, and put in a new foundation.
Yeah. That's what I think happened, because the blood, where did the 2 liters of blood go?
That's a good question as well. He was missing.
If they left him down there while everything was going on, he's bleeding out down there because he didn't bleed out outside.
Yeah. He definitely has the head trauma, but could that have all have happened from falling down the stairs or no? Yeah.
Between the dog knocking him down the stairs, if he fell down the stairs backwards, for example, he would have hit his head.
Why don't they call the police?
He would have stumbled, he would have hit
right
his
then.
Because they.
Okay, but this doesn't account for the fact that Colin and Allie lied to our face on the stand. They faked that text message, and it is absolutely provable. You want to watch the video real quick? Let me see.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. There was all this.
Oh God, we're not going to watch this. It's 8 minutes, but we can get to the part where they show the text messages. Okay. This is perfect. Yeah. So this is the text messages. They really need Colin out of the house. We assume that's because Colin had something to do with it. Might just be because he wasn't there. But if he really wasn't there, they wouldn't have had to fake this text message.
Yeah.
And beautifully pointed this out to me. And I didn't get a chance to edit this video together. So that's why it doesn't exist on the internet. But I'm sure plenty of internet sleuths have already said this. But this is their text messages at 11:55. Basically, she's like, I'm gonna come get you soon or whatever, or yeah, come get me after is what he says. And she's like, okay, I'm here. So between okay and I'm here, it changes to the next day. It becomes January 29th, 2022. But for some reason, this screenshot that Allie and Colin have cooked up has failed to change the date.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this is 1,000% a fake screenshot that they presented
Yeah.
as court as real. This
Mhm.
is really what we did. There's nothing to see here. And so if like that's the thing, accidents do happen. This isn't even an accident, right? Let's just say I don't fucking know. Was he not here? Was he just really not there? And so Colin's parents thought they had to put themselves at the scene of the crime to be like, oh, we weren't there. Found out there was video. Now they're at home being his alibi on the other side of the road. It makes no sense that they faked this. And this is the bitch. Yeah, the bitch who cried about, oh, the harassment. Maybe and then they let it in. Yannetti was like, oh, we're going to need to take that out. She's like, you open the door. Well, guess who opened the door to be called a lying bitch? This lying bitch. Probably a composite at minimum.
Yeah, they did a bad job.
Nice try, child. You know what is really unfortunate? Okay, let me show you. iPhone released their new phone September, like in September 2022, which I think is why why most of them upgraded their phones. This girl got a new phone in December. She probably got it for her birthday. Christmas. But yeah, I think Brian, I don't know. They either have the worst karma ever because that's what they deserve, or they're murderers.
Mhm.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell right now. I have a sign here, and it's my two guesses. It's Karen didn't do it, or she guilty. And I kind of that's me in the middle, right on the line, trying to.
No, I think Karen didn't do it.
Oh yeah, Karen didn't do it, or she guilty.
Yeah, Karen didn't do it.
Yeah.
We
have to hear from a couple more people, like the niece and nephew, at least the niece, Kaylee. I think we'll hear from her. We have to hear from Brian Higgins, who we don't. Let's look at this video of Brian Higgins. I'm gonna mute that so we don't have to hear it. Could you hear this actually?
Yeah.
You could? Okay. This is them totally not play fighting. This is in our world, we call him Huggins because we were giving him his nickname when Brian Sr. was telling us about their silly little play fighting, just silly little nothing. And they were like,
he refused to say play fighting. Refused.
Yeah. So we call him Huggins.
Yeah, because they was Huggins.
Why would they try to like soften this? Because they know the defense's theory?
Probably.
It just makes no sense. It makes you look, to me, if I were a jury member, I would just think they were just guilty. Like you're clearly trying to hide something. Nova said, I think the accident was they thought they knocked out and they left him outside to wake up and call a drive home, but he didn't wake up. Interesting. Okay.
So that means they didn't see the injuries on his head. They didn't see all the blood until after the fact. You know, there was so much that they didn't notice at the time why they left him out there to wake up.
Maybe they thought the snow would preserve him because they're fucking idiots. If you've been taking notes, these people are idiots. It's a lot. Brad said, turn on airplane mode, so no tower connection. Change date or time zone. Tower would change time back, so stay in airplane mode. Take screenshot, composite the text you want. No. What they did was take the screenshots, cut them, make them one, and screenshot that. Then they go behind the. And in the iPhone, you can adjust the time and date and place, even where something was taken.
Mhm.
So then they say, okay, taken whenever. The fact that Allie told us that they didn't bring this screenshot forward for a year because it wasn't for a year that Colin was questioned about leaving the house is also, I call bullshit. I think Colin was a suspect long before
and
that.
The fact that Jen was asking for the messages, and the fact that her husband is an IT expert and that's Allie's father, and she's the one that produced the screenshots.
Right. And Allie's father told us he doesn't need glasses, and then he couldn't see any screens. He couldn't see the far away one. He couldn't see the close up one. That doesn't explain the dog bite. That doesn't explain the dog bite. You're right.
When he was bending down to do the shoes thing, the dog is the reason why he ended up down the stairs. That's what I think.
Okay, I have a Higgins theory, though. Let me show you my new Higgins theory.
That's one of my theories, anyway.
The dog, I don't know, the dog clearly bit him, but I feel like the dog clearly bit him.
Because I've looked at, been looking at dog bite videos and dog scratch videos, and the dog, when it bites, it pulls, so it's going to leave what look like scratch marks or gashes.
Okay.
In the skin.
So this is Higgins, but his face didn't show up for some reason. This is his Jeep. Oh, good. So you still haven't seen him? He is a fugly son of a bitch.
Oh, no.
Okay. They told us this is, I want to show you my theory. So that the homeowners here, Brian and Nicole, let me get them out of this. They told us that they pulled into the house. Wait. Hold on. They pulled into the house. I gotta group this car together because I might have painted it blue myself. I couldn't find another car, so I used this red one from the other picture and just colored it blue. Whatever. Okay, so Brian Sr. and the mom, Nicole, are driving home from the bar that night. They say that Higgins gets there before them and pulls into the driveway because he has a plow on the end of his white Jeep Wrangler. So he pulls into the driveway, plows the driveway, comes back, and parks on the road right here. This is where he's parked at the mailbox. Yeah. And then they proceed to pull in the driveway behind him. This picture actually, it are the cars that morning. How do I show you that? These are the cars that were there. This is Jen's car, her Denali. It's pulled in that morning because she shows up later. That's why it doesn't have snow on it. And then these ones have snow on them. But these are the cars that are there. So we know for sure Jen parks in the driveway. She told us, and it seems like it's her habit. So they pull in the driveway. He pulls here.
There was no on the driveway when they got home. That's why it doesn't make sense that they said that he plowed the driveway.
No, it doesn't. But what makes it funny, because it seems like every step of the way they say the dumbest shit to like make their stories make sense. Are these people locked?
Yeah.
Oh, I did lock them. Whatever. I can't move the people around anymore. They're busted. But Brian Higgins is the first one to leave that night, right? He leaves at 1:30 in the morning, according to testimony. He has a plow on the front of his Jeep. They're going to tell us that old Officer O'Keefe is over here laying in the grass, in the snow, pretty much in the road, depending on who you ask. How did I lock all the fucking people? Get out of my way, Brian. And that this guy who was their heads.
Decapitating the people in front of us.
Shit, did I do this? I might have murdered them all. Okay, I didn't unlock their heads. Anyways, Brian's got a freaking plow on the front of his Jeep. He supposedly leaves at 1:30 in the morning. He's so concerned about snow that he obviously would have plowed right in front of his friend's house on his way by. But he doesn't see John?
No.
So the fact that they tried so hard, he's the first one to leave. He's got a plow. He's this great citizen. And he leaves when no one is out there. There's no other vehicles, just him and his plow, hoping not to hit a citizen walking down the road. What? Well, how come you didn't see it? Because he either wasn't here, as the other plow driver is going to tell us, who also is named Brian. And so if your name is Brian or Julie, there's probably a 75% chance you have Massachusetts blood in you. Or if you say sure excessively. They say sure a lot. Sure. Yeah, sure. When I started hanging out with you a lot, I started having my mental voice was like had a UK accent. And now my mental voice is from Boston.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go to the bar.
Gotta get in the car.
Okay, when the prosecution is avoiding the basement, they had renovated the basement before the incident, then tore up all the flooring and removed even the concrete. That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
They even
Yeah,
replaced.
the whole floor was redone. Done.
There was no snow on the driveway when they. I know that there was no snow. I actually looked at the footage from the waterfall from that night. I looked at it last night just to see how much snow really was on the ground. I don't know I don't live in the snow. I don't know if it's a good idea to just plow when you've got the plow out, you know. I dust every time I've got the, Windex in my hand, even
Yeah.
if I don't need it, because it builds up, right? So it's always a good idea. Maybe it's like that with snow, and he just was like, I'm going to go ahead and clear the driveway for good measure.
If there's practically no snow, there's nothing
But
to plan. There's nothing to do.
so for some reason, they for some reason it's just that important that they need Brian to be parked on the road. They saw him get there, that they make up the story that he plowed the driveway so that they have a memory. Is that it? Or what? Why? How does that make sense? Why do they do that?
I feel like I'm on the stand. Can you repeat that, please?
Okay, I have another theory. Could you repeat the question? I have another theory that the girls, the Julie, because seemed super bent at the defense or even being there in general, and Colin, the girl, what was the Caitlin? These are all just the kids that we got to see sort of at the end. They're not kids, but they're younger, the younger generation. I think their goal was to be pains in the ass. Could you repeat it? Could you rephrase that? What'd you say? I didn't hear you. Did you repeat it? I'm sorry. Was that a bird? Who's here? What's my name? What'd you say? Could you repeat it? I'm not sure. No, I don't remember. It was just so much of that frustratingly making them repeat themselves.
Yeah.
The snow builds up on the street last. It's hotter than the ground. Well, the snow was already sticking when they left. That's evident from the videos. There was definitely snow sticking to the streets. When he left at 1:30, it for sure was more snow because it was snowing an hour and a half by then. Brad, that is never something that happens. If there are problems, that's the next guy's problems. That's why you sell houses and used cars. What? You never take up concrete to sell a house? Yeah, I agree. Nova, I've never seen that. Yeah, agreed. Hey, Puffer is here. This case is so bullshit right now. I've barely heard Karen's name, lol. My theory is Colin did it drunk and the dog backed up his boy. Police privileged, gone hella wrong.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not Colin's dog, but Colin definitely knows this dog.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't be aggressive towards Colin, I think.
No.
And the dog gets out, for the record. The same dog. Let me show you Chloe. Crazy killer Chloe. I 1,000% updated her picture for this new. Maybe I gave her a little. That's Chloe. She didn't kill somebody, I think. Maybe I added that little bit of red right there.
Is she like that human blood now?
But she fucking escapes, first of all. So, in other words, she's capable of getting out when she wants to get to something, and bites two women, at least one woman, and injures another, to send them to the hospital enough that they had to finally get rid of her. Probably because she did the John O'Keefe thing and then she did the women thing. But here's my theory. So he's also missing a belt. Did you know he's missing his belt?
Yeah.
John O'Keefe?
That's Chloe's new lead, by the way. They can't.
Well, I think
come on with Chloe.
Here's my theory. I don't have a perfect, but what if Karen drops him off? He gets out of the car. She drives away. He has to really pee though, because he's super drunk. And so he goes between those bushes that are at the tree line between their house, unbuckles his belt because he has a huge Schlong, he has to did a lot of work to get it out. This is why all the bitches want to fuck him, because dude, first of all their guys are gay. And second of all, John has this huge baby. It's like, okay, so he has to unbuckle. He's peeing there. And that's when the dog is like, oh no, intruder. So he starts he starts breaking out. Colin or Brian, maybe it's Brian Higgins. Maybe this is when Brian Higgins pulls up. He pulls up because Captain Save-A-Ho is going to save the hose. And he sees the intruder too. He punches him, or something happens. He punches him in the dome. The dog attacks him at the same time. He falls, hits the ground. And that's when Higgins realizes what he's done. So can you carry something with a snowplow? Could anybody tell me that? If it's like a scoop that you could carry a body around in, like a forklift, or if you could only move things out of the way?
In the extra tracks I know this.
No, I don't think that they take him to the house. So to me, it doesn't make sense, because the way the snow is still laying, that they open that gate, that they use a car to get the body out of the thing. That a lot of that doesn't make a lot of sense. He also, big problem, doesn't have rigor setting in, so that the EMT says his jaw is movable, his things are movable, and that's why they work him.
Yeah, he's just, his fingers were frozen.
Right. So he's probably only been dead a couple hours at 6 a.m. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe I don't know. It really makes no sense. What really stood out of my mind was Colin doing cardio one-handed on a heavy bag as a man. That's insane. 100% a snowplow is a lifting machine. Okay, you can lift things up, not a scoop. Wait. I think he went to the house. Ain't no way I'm spending all the money to redo my basement to redo it again. If they just redid it, that makes no sense.
Yeah, they just done it. That's why.
Like, so they didn't need to remodel it, or I mean, they didn't need to upgrade it to get their house to sell their house. Which
that's where that.
Another thing, Karen's using Waze in her car to get there. So she types in the address that says she gets there at 12:24. Don't you think she just used Waze to get back home since she'd never been there? Why do you think she calls Jen? Jen says he texts me where to and she calls them, right? Does Jen call? Yeah, she calls them because she's driving.
Mm-hmm.
So she calls them and supposedly gives them directions, but she's not giving them directions from the right way.
She calls them who? She calls him. And then he's on speakerphone, or is he connected to the
We don't know that part.
Because he'd have to be on speakerphone because Karen is connected to her car via Bluetooth. He would be. And
we don't know if Jen's connected to her car via Bluetooth, but we don't know if Karen is. Well, or John. Jen says she plugged her phone in and that's why it's airplaying or CarPlaying.
I don't know. I would just assume that it would have automatically connected to Karen's phone over John's phone.
This is a good point, Brad. Yeah. So if he could have easily just put her on speakerphone, though, just been like, she just called speaker.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. But Brad said, I know several people who've gotten into fights at parties, gotten kicked out of the house, and went and passed out on the lawn. Oh, my friend Hideous was just saying that. I think he said he'd have been dead like 10 times over.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's also the blood loss to account for and the things that happened in the house that we are aware of but don't know about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. Puffer said, how the heck does your aggressive dog sleep like a log during a guy getting beat and dying outside in the front lawn? How does the cop of 30 years, the protector of this home, who sleeps with his phone and glasses with him so that he can jump up and rescue his children at the slight chance, how does he not hear Karen screaming, which we've heard? She was screaming. The cops were telling her, shut the fuck up. There's a huge storm. There's lights that you can see from Officer Good's camera down the fucking block. Their whole shit is lit up red and blue. The cop doesn't wake up. The woman doesn't wake up. The dog doesn't wake up. Not only that, then an intruder comes in her house. walks in the front door, dog doesn't give a shit. Runs upstairs, dog doesn't give a shit. Gets into the room, guess who doesn't give a shit?
Yeah, the dog. Like,
This
where is
this
the dog?
fucking murdering dog right here.
That's because the dog allegedly left with Caitlin
Caitlin.
when
Agreed.
she picked up. Yeah.
I do think that that's a good theory. And when you hear defense ask her, did you have Chloe in the car? She does the no, like that's a stupid question look. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. You know the theory. But this guy, her boyfriend, snowplow daddy, Barney, he refused to give times. He would not. They were like, this up. He said, nope, I don't know. I don't know times. And it's like he's been dating this bitch for not 8 years. So he's like, listen, I'm trying to get pussy tonight and forever, possibly. So yeah, I picked her up. Whatever she said is what it is.
He knew the least out of everyone. Like, no, don't know, don't remember, I don't know what time he left the thing. He said if it was 9 o'clock in the evening, he wouldn't know. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you are.
But he did. You know what he did know? Oh, did I lose her head too? That was weird. Whatever, he did know that I just lost the chick's head. That was weird. He did know that the plan was always to just go home and that she changed the plan. It was important for her to not be in the house that night. She decided instead of spending the night, I'm going home. And I did upload that video.
High maintenance, was it?
She is high maintenance, I would assume. Look at this. This is yesterday. So, Jen McCabe is on the stand yesterday talking about when they arrived and Karen has run over to the body, lifted his shirt up, and is like trying to warm him up, and they get blankets and shit like that. So she's recounting this scene from that morning. And I think we hear more from Jen than we hear from anyone. You know, like a little bit of the little details to make it feel real or be real.
Including when she does the impression of a velociraptor go, Jen! That was flipping freaking. I was like, what the hell was that?
Dude, such a weird chick. But Karen zones out. I feel like she went right back to that place. And a couple times she almost kicks out. I'll just let it play. So the other dude, Lally, is saying, may I don't know, hand some paperwork to the chick. May I approach the witness or whatever? I just muted it so we could hear. Inappropriately said is here. Hi. It's good to see you. I miss your face. I can't believe they removed the concrete from the basement. Who fucking does that? Why? Did they put a heated floor in?
No, but they made sure they got rid of the blue.
They were so zoomed in that they accidentally got Lally's.
Oh, that don't. Oh gosh, there's so much. He needs to choose a hairstyle.
Yeah, this is just the whole time. How far are we in here? It's almost over. I think she's thinking about that morning again. She looked like hell.
Her version of events, not Jen's.
Yeah, I think so. She snaps out of it and starts talking to her attorney and things like that. This is the part, this video here.
No, it wouldn't be a heated floor. Okay.
No, I muted it. You can keep talking. I was just curious. Why would you take up the concrete?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a heated floor in the gym.
Oh, yeah, duh. That was dumb for me to say. They wouldn't put a heated floor in the gym. Unless they changed it into like bedroom. I'm pretty sure there's a bathroom down there. I could look at the floor plan and find out. But this one, so this is what is this called? John Dender's Higgins Has a Secret. So this is when John gets into the bar.
John O'Keefe has a secret. Oh,
Higgins has a secret. John enters, Higgins has a secret. Oh my God, I didn't edit this. This is John. He's saying hi to everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, let me pause it and get it to regular speed. Eventually, he's going to I'm going normal. Get distracted. I think someone says hi and he kind of, he's going to go hug another lady here in a second. Oh, see, he kind of scoots over, says hi, gives her a hug and leaves them. That's the last time he basically was saved by the bell here. Now Higgins, this guy here in the Harley thing, and this guy here have a little chit chat, little secret.
Okay.
But it's more than this. Somebody's going to come out from the bathroom, I think, and sit back with them. See how they're just chatting? They're just.
Yeah.
What they're probably saying is, I can't believe she brought John. I thought she was going to suck my dick. So, supposedly, spoiler alert, John and Karen are on vacation for New Year's Eve with a bunch of people. Karen thinks she catches John kissing another girl. She's like mad, right? That supposedly doesn't really happen. He's not really kissing another girl, but she's a jealous type. When she gets back, she's like just trying to figure it out. Is this what I want to be doing? Do I want to, like, I'm obviously jealous, so blah, blah, blah. Do I want to have this relationship? The kids, da, da, da. She starts texting Higgins, dude here, the dude from the white Jeep, right? And so they have a little bit of a, hey, you know, type of shit going on. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, oh, I'm not going to show you because I don't want you to see what he looks like. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, just play. Play.
Well, he's not on here. I was going to show you a picture because 2 weeks later, they're at that other bar together. And I'm like, yeah. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
This is the guy. This is John O'Keefe. This is Huggins. So this is like a week before John O'Keefe dies. And a couple weeks into this guy talking to this guy's girl. They've been
22nd time.
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes. That's this night. So like this guy is trying to fuck his girl. She brings him into the club this night. They hug, whatever, pretending to be friends. As soon as he walks away, these two dudes have something to talk about. This was just a weird exchange. It probably means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they got there at what, 10:50? I thought they were there for 2 hours. Here we go. So he gets up. He's got something on his mind. He just did this. He motioned for him to come over here, whispering something in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I thought that was so strange when I saw that. Looks like Caitlin is part of our show.
Saying that though, remember there's a live band playing. So if you want to talk to people, you have to get close to actually hear what people are saying.
That's true. But like they weren't having any trouble talking to each other in this video. Like they're 4 feet apart here. They're able to talk, but he wanted to say something he didn't want everybody else to hear.
Unless he said it out loud and he didn't hear it, so he had to come close to him to repeat it.
No. Because you don't wave somebody over because he wouldn't know you know what I mean? He's saying, come here for a second. I have something different to say to you. He's not going, huh? What are you saying? It'd be different. He wouldn't know the other guy didn't hear him.
It's just that I think this bar needs to readjust where they put their cameras, because between that being at the top where you all that information and the one outside where you got
the flag. I know.
That's yeah.
So we went over the fact that Colin and Allie forged that text message.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how we think that Brian Higgins probably plowed the road that night, and supposedly John O'Keefe's body was not there yet because he's a plowing guy and he has it attached and he leaves at 1:30 and no one else sees a blob except Julie from the Denali's back seat after drinking for 7 hours.
Only said after they all found out that nobody from the house had said they'd seen John outside.
Mm-hmm. That's so strange. Why is she doing this?
Because
why would she do this?
I don't know. Is it because somebody needs to have placed him or seen him outside for it to even make sense that he was there at the time that they are trying to state that he was? Because how could everybody have left and nobody saw him? Like one person caught a glimpse maybe, so that's not so bad. But nobody paid any attention to it at all. People are talking about looking at tracks in the road over the grass when he's
I know.
I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. How
Well, they got together and created that narrative. That same guy accidentally spilled the beans on the fact that they were We'll talk about that. Let me address Nova's thing. Nova said it doesn't look like a loud, noisy bar. It's empty.
Yeah,
It's
but
there's a band right here.
there's a band
It's hard to kind of see. There's like a little alcove, and there's a band playing. It's probably pretty loud. It's an hour before closing. It's as rowdy as it's gonna get. It's all Alberts and McCabe's loud, thinking that their shit doesn't stink. We have a family in my town that's just like this. I'm not going to tell you their name, but they are loud sons of bitch. When I was a bartender, oh god, one of the guys came in. They're just dicks. They're just dicks. They're better than you. Divinity said, "Does the defense know they faked the text messages? Because all we knew, Amber Heard faked wine pictures before Johnny's defense noticed it as well." Because we all knew Amber Heard. Is that true? Her defense is really, really good. I would imagine.
They've got online people involved. There's they've got people that are sending them stuff, and as soon as they get out of court, they get bombarded with information.
Yeah. Like if you went to Turtle Boy's website, his like commentary is trash in my opinion. I don't think it's what it is, but they have a lot of evidence. They have a lot of the text messages. These are new to me because I waited for court, but they're not new to the internet. And I would be very surprised if they didn't know these things. They're really, really, really good.
Yeah. Johnson's one of the best.
Jackson.
Johnson.
She's thinking about something else.
Oh my God.
They were all looking at the windows. Yeah, this is another funny part. They said that they were all looking out the windows during this time because they were waiting for John to show up because he was needing directions. And this girl right here, let me show Julie, yeah.
Yeah, to tell her brother.
These three people at the top here, they all show up at the same time as Karen does. They actually yield so Karen can pull onto the road. Karen makes a right, they make a left. They all pull up at the house together. There's no Jeep there for the record, except for one person. Two people now have said that there's a Jeep. I think Mr. Brian Sr. said it, and this guy, McCabe. Both of McCabe's actually might have said that there was a Jeep there, huh? Yeah. Because the lady McCabe is trying to say that Karen's car was straight ahead. Yeah. Because she has to account for the Jeep, even though she doesn't say it. But these three people here that pull up to pick Julie up, Julie's going to run out of the house and say, "Do you want to come in?" "No." "Are you sure? Because you're invited. It's fun. It's about to pop off." They're like, "No, we're tired." It's her brother's girlfriend, Heather, and the driver. And Ricky, Ryan, and Heather. And she goes back into the house, and the McCabe's are like, "We'll take you home." And she's like, "Okay, good." Julie said she had the idea to stay when she was out at the truck. But they say there was no Jeep, that the car in front of them while they were parked there was Karen's Lexus. Say.
Jen said that she'd offered offered her a ride. That's why she said that she was going to stay. So they both of them are giving contradictory testimony there. Sorry.
Yeah, totally. And they like elicited. They're like, "And you had that idea before you went outside, right?" And Julie, in her fucking angst, she was so mad. She wanted to just be like, "No, you're wrong. No." Yeah. And so she says it. She's like, "I just had the idea. It came to me when I was outside." "Okay, so when you were out at the thing?" "Yep." It's like, wow, you didn't need to say that, big mouth. The DNA expert testified out of turn because she had a scheduling conflict. So we learned that the state didn't swab the wounds, but they swabbed the shirt, right? Yeah. That John O'Keefe was wearing. They wouldn't give the shirt over to be tested.
Right.
And then the DNA, it's animal DNA, not human DNA. This was a pet DNA.
Well, yeah.
They didn't find dog DNA that they were looking for, but they did find pig DNA.
They found DNA of the police officers that were messing with the case.
Oh, I'm glad you said this, Puffer. Hey, Flow State, good to see you. But Puffer said some chick just dropped by and put donuts in someone's car, but other people say it was bread. What?
No. So when the girls got into the back of Jen and Matt's vehicle, there was a loaf of bread in the back that was there because she'd had her nieces over and she bought stuff. whatever. And the donuts were from Aunt Julie that brought the donuts over because it's their ritual for Brian Jr.'s birthday.
But let me just say this.
Yeah.
Brian Jr. says he doesn't go downstairs right away. The mom or the dad say that I think they actually say that he doesn't come downstairs that morning until much later. Oh. But Brian Jr. says he went down and got the donuts out of the car and had the donuts. He had to have been down there.
And is that again the two front doors thing, kitchen, living room? You know, is that what happened there? Did he come into the kitchen to get the donuts from everybody? They must have seen him get the donuts because the donuts weren't left outside; they were brought inside with Julie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Julie said she showed up, put the donuts in the car, went to leave. Brian opens the door and says, "You need to come inside." Julie says it's between 8 and 8:30. John O'Keefe is pronounced dead at 7:58. He's at the hospital with Carrie Roberts. Carrie Roberts is with the parents. The doctor comes out and says, "We did everything we could. We're really sorry we lost John." And they're like, "Do you want to come see him?" They said, "Yes." "Carrie, do you want to go with us?" She says, "No." Fast forward to testimony. They say that they're sitting in the kitchen that morning after everything. The crime scene is cleared. It's 8:30. No cops. There's nothing. Julie shows up and has no idea, according to her, what has happened. She doesn't see a cop. There's no tape. There's no cop. There's no ambulance, nothing. She drops the donuts off. Brian says, "Come inside." They say they're all gathered around because they're getting messages from fucking, what's her name? Carrie Roberts, who's at the hospital. So Carrie Roberts, by 8 or 8:30, knows 100% that John O'Keefe is dead. She has texted them knowing he didn't make it. She goes into the house. She says they're all standing there, very silent. And they tell her, "There's been an accident. Something's happened to John." "What? No, because now you know he's dead." She says, "I go home, tell my husband something has happened." And then he says, "We need to go back." Then Chris goes back over to the house with them. When they get there, they learn that he's died. Except Chris says when he wakes up in the morning, his wife comes in and says, "John's dead." Make it make sense, people. Anybody have a story that they were just say, "I was so drunk"? I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of it not adding up. And hey, Lady Autumn Sky, good to see you, girl.
Hey, it is good to see you. Yeah, we're getting our Karen Reed angst out. We got a lot to say about these people okay. So we talked about the girls. We didn't talk about the group text message from
we haven't got there yet.
Mr. McCabe. So in the group is Jen McCabe, this guy. Okay, so when I make it too big, I lose their heads. Christ. He doesn't deserve his head. Okay, so in the group is Nicole and Brian Albert and Jen and Matt. But it's so strange because their names, the adults' names for each other are Uncle Matt, it's her brother, and Coco, which is what the nickname for that the girl, the daughter that Allie called her Aunt Nicole Coco on the stand. I'm like, what? And Uncle Brian would also be Allie. Those have to be Allie's messages.
Yeah, so they're trying to.
It doesn't make sense. Maybe the mom took over. Maybe when Allie got her new phone in December, they gave her phone to the mom, and the mom is using her phone now. And
in that case, they do a factory reset, so all that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, something is weird there.
Reset, and the names could be there. So that means if she's got her phone, that means her phone's still around.
I don't know.
But do they not know that she's got the phone? Because if they find out that she's got the phone, then they find out that everything's retrievable from that handset then.
Yes. So the chief is driving by the crime scene one day and looks out his window and sees this piece of tail light. I'll show it to you. he sees this piece of taillight and he calls the other detective and he's like, "You boys better get over here. I've got the piece to break the case." And this is it. And they go and they collect this taillight. And then we learned that in those text messages from Matt in that group text that he was also just driving by the crime scene one day, and he texts them and he says, the cops are at the Asian house. The cops are at the Asian house. It looks like they're digging around. I'll try to get a pic. Like, what? Why do you need to get it? Who the fuck are you? Why do you need to inform everybody about what's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of extra involvement for some people that didn't seem very concerned the morning of.
Yeah, and then in the same group text message, it's right after it happens, and the news, Channel 4 News, is at D&E Pizza trying to get information, and they're texting each other, and they tell, "What do I say? What do we say?" is the question, which is a very strange thing to want to know what to say. What do we tell them? Do you remember what their response was?
Me?
Do you remember what the response in the
tell them that guy wasn't in the house.
Exactly.
That guy, not John, not our friend. Tell them that guy that they so affectionately are talking about. Understand now that Jen loved so much. Yeah, tell them that guy was not in the house.
So weird. Why the hell to call him that guy? To be like, what do we say? Just tell him that guy wasn't in the house. Exactly. It's like
it's allegedly a friend. It's that guy. You know, I'm lost.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And then he goes, what's the Asian house? They're like, I don't know. Some of their neighbors are like, did you know their last name was Chung? And he's like, no. He's like, oh, so you're just calling them the Asian people because of what? Because of their face? Just because their face? So, and somebody said, was it DUI guy or was it somebody else? Said that there are a few Asian people on the jury.
Oh yeah, DUI guy said there's a few Asians on the jury. Ooh.
DUI guy I can't get Twitter to show up. I've lost my access or something. I don't know.
He's been in the courtroom, so he's giving us firsthand what his own eyes.
I can still use Twitter on my phone. So.
Oh yeah, you can.
I don't know. I'm not going to be able to pull up those documents right now. But yeah, when I did my video of this, I turned this around and my question was, how are they going to explain the footprint underneath this? Like how?
Or the melting, even if it's not an actual footprint.
That's a footprint.
Melting underneath.
That's a footprint from a dude who's missing his damn shoe. Either way, this is a very, very, very strange case. I don't get it. This is exactly where they found the body. Can you see this? This one? Oh, can I zoom in? No. Dang it. So if you look, do you remember I told you their car was parked? Can I make this bigger?
Yeah, so the flagpole
is here.
Is there. Yeah, so that's technically where a rough approximation of where his body was.
He's right there. There's two people working. This is the girls working on him right here in this area.
I can't see that.
I screenshot this, but as you come in, the one girl, probably Jen, lifts her hand up to kind of wave the cop in, and they're doing CPR on him here. So this is the flagpole, and they're about however many feet, and then this is the road because they drove up the road. So they said when they drove up the road that it was really, really dark, they couldn't see anything, and that the girl saw it. So this makes sense positionally that the driver and the passenger were looking, didn't see it. As Karen went even with that part, she's looking and she does see it. She says, stop. Yeah. They stop. So they have to run around the back of the car because they're that far. Just like, it seems like that makes the most sense. And they came from this way because these girls are trying to be like, let's go by that one lady's house that he was probably fucking. They don't like Karen. And I think they want to get her out of the whole friend group.
Somehow.
They say they like her. They want to be her friend because she's got a nice Lexus and she's got a great personality and she's fun to be around and she's got her shit together and the kids like her. And the young boys are probably like, damn, John got a hot bitch. And they're married to gay men.
Details, considering they were bonding over their health issues.
MS, yeah. I don't know, but they showed us, you know what's bizarre?
I'm
Is
just
that I watched the waterfall footage yesterday, and at the end of the night, you see John O'Keefe walk outside, and he has a glass in his hand, his right hand. When Lally does his opening testimony, he mentions it. He says he's got cuts on his right hand, the same hand he's holding a glass in that you'll see him walk out of the bar with. And I'm like, good Lord, Lally, you're trying to say that it was like glued to his fucking hand? Here's the thing. If you play the video back, just, I don't know, a whole 60 seconds max, 45 seconds, you'll see John O'Keefe take a drink of his beer with his left hand, dark bottle, set it down, reach for a glass and take a drink of it. I think he's drinking Karen Reed's water. He's holding it. He's walked outside with this other glass. It's water. So to say that this bar, it's just bizarre. I'm like, you're literally trying to tell us that this is his cocktail glass with the clear liquid. It's not even his drink. He just picked it. I don't know. It seemed weird to me. Lally's a piece of shit. I think. Karen just wasn't part of that friend group. Yeah, trust me, that happened to me in my last friend group. They're really nice to you at first, and then they realize that you're not just going to go away. You're just people like you.
They brought him into their friend group when he took the kids over, and they brought yes, and then he brought in Karen afterwards, and they hated the whole Karen situation
because they didn't need them anymore. These fucking wine moms finally had a purpose. They were going to Captain Save-A-Ho Port, the only not gay man in town, John O'Keefe. They were just going to help him, show you what a great mom is. And then Karen shows up and she's like, I can do it.
Help raise these children.
And made it. Yeah, and they hated it. They had no use. This is what happens when you hit the wall and you got no more use. I've heard about this. These are not rumors.
I heard it's for real.
I don't know. There's what other things are weird about this case? My opinion on the EMT, the whole story. There's the one girl EMT who says Katie, who is frat sisters with what's her fuck, Caitlin.
Yeah.
I think she maybe even thought she heard. She says she hit him. I think she says she hit him. What is his name in the weird looking deformed face paramedic firefighter? It's not jack off, but it sounds like that. Nuttall. That's how I remember it.
Yeah.
So he's shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, he's working on him. When she comes to the ambulance and says this is his name. He's not on meds. She says she hit him. Katie on the stands says he motions to his face and said something hit him. They think she physically hit him.
You with his face, with her face.
Not with a car. Yeah, not with the whole ass SUV. That's not what she's saying. But I think after the fact, they all put themselves in this weird hero role where, except for firefighter Kelly, who's only been doing this very short period of time when this happens. It's fresh and new. He doesn't know that they just go up on the stand and lie. He's just trying to tell the truth. So he is the only one who doesn't hear this girl say the thing, so he doesn't repeat it as his own story. But everybody else was like, I started CPR and I was the first one there, and then I showed up early because I'm a model employee, and then she told me this, and it was all about me. And I think the defense did a really good job being like, you have an impressive resume. Yeah, wow. I'm like, all he said was that he'd been to kindergarten. But it didn't matter. The guy on the stand just needed to like be puffed up for a moment to just let the ego take over. It was really good. I liked watching it.
What was it? Is it Nuttall that said he had a conversation with Karen, and there was allegedly said all these things to it. She said all these things to him, and she got all this information out of him. And then when they replayed the video, they were like, "Okay, where's Karen? Where did this happen? Because we don't see this interaction that you talk about."
Yeah, two of the firefighters had that problem. The problem was they didn't like. I know of some of their. Hold on a second. Some of their ambulances. My deaf dog is trying to get out. Some of their ambulance, I'm sure, have like dash cams, but I just don't think they were familiar enough with the fact that everything was being recorded. Being paramedics, it's not on the forefront of their mind. because they've all told Whopper stories that haven't even been close
Even
to
under
the truth.
circumstances, I think they get to become so accustomed to having the cameras around that it becomes part of, you know, part of the vehicle, part of the uniform. It's not, oh, it's a camera.
Because they don't have a body-worn camera, so it's not something that they really consider in every moment. Maybe when they drive, because like I said, on the ambulance, they'll probably have something in there that's telling them how they drive to make sure that they're not going too fast or braking too soon, any of that, how they turn, just everything, monitoring. That's how it is in a lot of places here. I don't know, maybe there.
Yeah.
Literally my cousin Vinny moment. I shot the clerk. I shot the clerk. They all say it. They all say it that way. She said, I hit him. I hit him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Puffer's remembering the leaf blower moment. Like when the Officer Link said that he took the leaf blower all the way down to grass. Then how in the world did they get that second picture? This one later. How?
Yeah.
Where was this?
Yeah. How did they miss that?
They were looking for blood. They found a clear glass. This is red and black. This is a big piece. And I can't figure out, actually, let's look at her car.
Oh.
This is Karen's car.
Probably the bottom edge, I think. Or the side.
Down here?
Mm-hmm.
Or here? But then when Officer Link testified about the state was trying to get this whole housing out and they couldn't get it out. They were having trouble. And they called in another officer, a police officer from Canton, because he was in charge of their fleet and had experience with a screwdriver or something. Again, they're all gay. When they asked Matt McCabe, what was your wife driving? He's like, I don't know. It was like a Yukon or a Suburban. I'm like, gay. He's gay. Anyways, same here. They didn't know how to use a screwdriver, so they called in a guy. And when Link was testifying, he said, and the tail light broke when you were taking it out. He said, yes. He said, it shattered. He said, yes. He goes, and some of those pieces got on the ground. He's like, I wouldn't say that. Like, wait, is this where the 45 pieces of taillight came from? How, like, he said this on the stand.
Yeah, and when you zoom, if you could zoom in, there's that line.
I wish I could.
Not that. My words won't come out.
This?
No.
I wish I could zoom in on this too. Why can I not? Oh, I have an idea.
Or to the right and below the cracked piece of red glass that's still there, there's a screwdriver mark in there. And
like they scratched it?
Where's all the wires that were supposedly for this red light? Because they must have dropped out somewhere as well because they didn't take those out.
Okay, actually, before we this is video taken from The View when they went to look at the house. Before I showed you this picture of them in impound. You see this, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this is normal. I'm not actually sure, but when they go to The View here, the car is clean. So it's like they've cleaned this car.
They probably washed.
Is that normal?
Oh, for the whole unit, the housing unit for the light fitting.
Why would they wash the car?
I don't know.
They found evidence, blood and hair supposedly on this car. Why would they wash it? That's bizarre.
Collecting the evidence. And like snow, everything disappears.
So this is when the jury went to this house to do their view to see this. This is how it was set up. They had the car parked right in front of the house where Jen says that it was parked the first time she sees it, which would mean the jury got to see exactly how much space is behind this car, which is supposedly where the white Jeep is. She'll move up further. And then there's the other car that pulls in. There's just not enough space for everything they're going to tell us happened. So if you look at...
She moves 3 times according to the McCabe's, is it?
Yeah. According to Julie, too. That she pulls up, stops, pulls up, stops, pulls up, stops. But there's no way... She pulls up when this other car is coming down the road with her. So what happened is she probably pulled up the first time right at the mailbox because she's going to let John out to walk. He's not going to walk up through their grass. He's not going to walk up through the snow if it's snowing. He's going to walk up the bricks.
Yeah.
But then she realizes that car that just yielded to me is coming to the same house, right? What are the odds? So she pulls up the second time to be like, here, let me make room for you. There's no fucking Jeep here. And then Jen says, park behind me. And she pulls up a third time. I don't know. That part doesn't make sense. Because she says, pull in behind me. They say they're all observing her move her car when they say that. I think, I don't know. I don't know.
If you see, disappeared and I don't know.
Violent Lilac said the Canton police chief hit an old man crossing the street recently and tried sweeping it under the rug. So does anybody remember this? When Officer Good ends up, he's working dispatch that night. And when they get the call, it's just a man down. They don't know it's an officer yet. And he calls in a woman to take over dispatch. And he goes to the call. He becomes the supervisor or something. He told us when he was on the stand that night or sometime that morning that he saw someone come to the station, and he doesn't remember if he saw them in person or if he saw them on their video surveillance, but it was I think it was like an ATF agent or something very, very strange. So if Higgins did this, I was thinking, because Higgins is ATF, and if they're sharing their office with another, maybe, I don't know. It's so weird. That was a weird piece that they gave us. I'm like, why did they tell us that? If he's lying, why would you even say that part? Just if you're covering, you know what I mean? Like if you're making a cover up, you just leave that part out. No one knows you're the guy on duty. Perfect.
Because when you're telling a lie, you're trying to pad the story with bits of random information. Doesn't make you're going to talk about anything but what actually happened. So yeah, that is something that's going to come into it that's irrelevant.
Yeah, they had. He said Nova said they had to smash it to pieces, plant it as much as they could. Wait, he leaves dispatch, so the cops are dispatchers. Yeah, their town is only like 25,000 people, so probably, I don't know. Maybe they have to take shifts doing that part. It's probably a pretty sleepy town. I would imagine, like, did you ever see Super Troopers where like the girl works the desk and she also kind of the cop on duty?
I've got questions. Why did officers turn up in their own vehicles? Why did the vehicles that were police vehicles not have any evidence collecting stuff in them? Why did you get flipping solo cops in a Stop and Shop bag to collect evidence in? Why did you not store the evidence properly? You don't know whether or not you put the evidence in the fridge in the bag or took the cups out of the bag and put them in the fridge. You don't know how to use evidence tape. You're going to swab something to send off to the lab instead of giving them the whole item to test themselves. None of the evidence collection none of it holds water. None of it shouldn't have got this far basically on that alone, if that makes sense.
And then they charged her with second-degree murder with intent. So I told you that there's been a bunch of earthquakes all morning when we started the show. If you're just showing up, California is really shaking. In the same city, they just had a 4.0. Just now it's saying now, so like technically probably 3 minutes ago. But 3.6, the twos aren't a big deal but the fact that they're still shaking, and it's just releasing a lot of pressure in California right now.
I just thought, and the leaf blower.
The leaf blower, I know. What? And that came from Good's house. He went and got it.
So if you're going to... What?
I don't know. Here's a better picture of this taillight, actually.
Oh, so much.
There's the scratch you were talking about.
Yeah.
But still, where does this piece come from?
Because that's not the piece that was found outside. That's not the piece that was... I just don't know. I want it to make sense, but the way they've done this...
The lines must go... So this piece is from here, I suppose? This bottom? Because it has this black...
Yeah, so I think that's the edging It's one of the edges.
Down here?
Yeah. And it's not the corner, it's the straight edge. Because it's not curved.
I don't believe, I'm like unpopular when it comes to this. I don't believe that she shattered her taillight when she hit his car. She could have cracked it. Maybe she cracked it.
Taking it out.
They shattered it, right? I think. But still.
We got 48 pieces of her taillight.
Yeah. And you could see that if it were broken, then it doesn't leave any pieces in the snow. I just don't think. I think her bumper hit the car. If you look at, let me find the picture. Not this. Where's the picture from? This one. If you look at this one, this is the marking on the car. So they've marked it here where there's some rust spots. They marked it here where I assume they found blood or hair. And then they marked it here where it's not. Either way, these are like noticeable points, right? Points of interest. I think this one here is where she hit John's car. If anything, it would be this. My dog wants to out. Because look at her bumper sticks out. The whole point of the bumper is to run into shit for you. Bump into shit. That's its job. Every time I go to open my door, my dog, go, get out. Please leave. Go, dog.
And that's why Chloe isn't the thing anymore.
Yeah. I got to rehome my dog. Anybody in Vermont need a dog? Stop. Okay. What else did we miss? I'm looking at the things that I have on my desktop. This picture, oops, share. I zoomed in. Stop, please. I zoomed in on one of their videos to see which cars were in the driveway that morning. And these are not necessarily that night. I think this is Jen's car pulled in the next, like, whatever. I don't know what time this was. At certain point in the trial yesterday, he goes, could you bring up whatever video? And he's like, and then skip to 20 minutes. And so the lady starts clicking through it. And so I slowed it down. This is one of the frames. And I was like, wait, this is exactly what the driveway looked like. This is Jen's car. I was curious about the windows. These two cars have snow on them, so they didn't move. This one kind of looks like it used its back windshield wiper. This is obviously not a great video. So I wonder if they could have put the edge back in first because they used it in the commission of a crime that evening. And they needed it to be tucked in.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just on my desktop. Here's a picture. This is the red dot is where the house is. Karen and the kids pulled in from up here. Karen made a right onto the road. The kids came and made a left. A couple houses down to Cedar Crest. They tried to say that they came in from down here. This is Jen's theory. When they brought Karen back this night. Okay. I hate to sidetrack here, but supposedly Karen leaves that morning before she calls Jen. She wakes up and she was like, John's not here. And she leaves her house and she goes looking for him. She goes by the waterfall. She goes by Fairview. She goes by where they were, comes back home. And that's when she's freaking out. She's like, which is weird because how would she know he's not there? He didn't have a car. Like, what was she looking for as evidence that he was or was not at these other locations, right? So anyways, she supposedly goes looking for him, comes back home, wakes up Kaylee, and that's when she's like frantic. Calls, Kaylee actually calls Jen and is like, hey, Karen's freaking out. They talk, blah, blah. She goes over to Jen's house and then they go on, one thing leads to another. They go on their mission to find him and they go back by Fairview and there he is. But like, why did she drive by the first time? Why didn't she see him the first time? Did she see him? Was she freaking out because she holy shit did hit him? And then she's like, maybe a plow hit him, trying to like cover for her own.
But saying that though, she was looking and Jen and Kerry were in the front of the vehicle and they didn't see him either. She saw him from the back.
So then if she drove by 34 Fairview originally, before that, why didn't she see him?
I was just saying the driver of the vehicle, Jen never saw him either. It was her. because when you're driving, you don't pay as much attention to the things as when you are.
I guess so. Yeah, totally. You would, yeah. She could have been at that moment. Karen would have known though. Karen wouldn't have been like willy-nilly looking around. She would have been like, this is where I parked last.
Yeah,
This
so
is
then
where
she's
he should
looking at,
be.
then concentrating now as she's as they're driving past Fairview 34, and then she sees them. When she was driving before, she was like probably looking, sort of not looking. Oh, it makes sense.
Now you sound like a damn Albert. She was looking, but not quite looking. I was looking out the window and the door at the same time.
The internet's so dead. Oh shit.
Girl, we hour and nobody's gonna see that. Don't you worry. Just looking, but not really looking. That's why I love you.
On YouTube looking right now, or 20, sorry.
So if you look at this picture taken after, that's the flagpole that we saw from the video of the cop coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been like somewhere right in here, which really sucks because in my theory, he hit his head on a fire hydrant. And the fire hydrant not in this picture.
It's further back there, behind on the other side.
If he would have hit his head, it's like say the dog attacks him, he lifts up, he hits his head, totally just squishes his melon, and that's it. Like black eyes, skull fracture, all that shit happens in that moment. There's not enough blood to account for that. There's no rollover marks. There's no like. It's just bizarre.
Because he did lose the blood.
Listen.
And I know that in the snow would stem the blood flow. What was it?
Brian Jr., which they all have different accounts of why Brian didn't show up. One said he had anxiety. One said he didn't feel like it. One said he changed his mind. One said it wasn't ever the plan. It's like, who knows what's really the story here. But Brian said they had plans for his birthday on the 29th to 28th, Friday night, to hang out for his birthday. But they also knew the snowstorm was coming in. That they get warnings of snowstorms before, so they were still making tentative plans because a lot of times that'll blow over. By that day, they knew the snowstorm was coming in, so it was game on.
Mm-hmm.
It was. No, he said. So we went ahead with the plan.
Yeah.
I'm 99%. That's a direct quote. We went ahead with the plan, and when he said that, I'm like, what? You needed a snowstorm to cover for what? What was the plan? What do you mean? You didn't go to the bar that night. What? It was so bizarre that he used that language, that they went ahead with the plan. I'm like, yikes.
Mates here.
Where is all the blood? Tell us. I don't know. Perhaps he was anemic. Does anemia make you have less bleeding? What would that do in this case?
It makes your blood thinner.
So who'd have bled more?
Yeah. So
Amit is in the house. Good to see you, old friend. Hocket podcast. First thoughts would be that John crashed on a couch in the house or another house. Yes. But she said that he has never not come home, so that's what made this seem unusual to her.
He's a responsible guy. He's not.
Do you think that do you think Harry Sorry,
he knows he's got kids at home, so he's going to be coming home every night.
Yeah, he's the only one that's not drunk driving. He parks his car at the other bar, walks over to the bar with Karen, gets in the car with Karen and drives over with her. He's the one that's not drunk driving. That's why they had to get rid of him. He's not one of them.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
It probably wasn't important.
It was, and I missed you up.
No, I was trying to interrupt you, so it was the opposite. I think I'm just trying to figure out. I don't know. I was trying to make it make sense. I'm just going through all the. There's another earthquake. Same place, 3.0. So we don't know what happened. Is that where we got an hour and a half? We just didn't solve this?
Mm-hmm. We still can't fix it. Can't fix stupid, that's why.
Why did Brian Albert tear out the basement floor and replace it all? Blood soaked. Yeah, I'm learning today that he replaced the concrete too. That's what?
Yeah. I'll have a look at Have you checked Rumble?
I'm kind of lost. I think I might have. Oh, here it is. No, Rumble isn't doing anything for me. So if somebody's chatting in Rumble, let me see if I can. Last I see is inappropriately said hi.
Okay.
I'm sorry if anyone's chatting in Rumble. I don't see it this morning. So the leaf blower. Here's a picture of that. In case you thought we were bullshitting you, they literally went to get a leaf blower to blow the snow away to expose the crime scene. They took it all the way down to grass, but never found the taillight pieces.
Nope.
When they were searching this, there's one cop like steps in the scene and like reaches down and pulls something out of the grass. It's just a leaf or something. So you know they were looking for things to try to expose, but he's not even wearing gloves. That cop that does that. What if that was evidence?
Then it's got his fingerprints all over it.
Pig DNA? Is that what you're trying to tell me? There might be pig DNA on some of this? 10-4.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
here's them outside the waterfall if you want to see.
You have to walk that way.
Whoa.
And then you'll.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Can you see this?
yes.
So there's a car that has left this spot here. So this spot has no
No snow.
That's no snow. And this is Jen McCabe standing here. She's about to walk away to her car. This is how much snow is on the ground when Brian Higgins plows the driveway. And they leave. Chris Albert walks home in the snow. The reason that Karen and John are like a few minutes behind these people is because they have to walk over to the other bar and get in the car because they walked to this one. That's why they both, Chris Albert and the O'Keefe and Reed, are walking down Washington Street. It's confusing though, because the jury doesn't have they're not even allowed to do research. The only reason I'm able to do all this is because we've been able, to do the research. So how
it's
I just wonder how confusing this is for them.
Extra.
Which pieces they're picking up. Here's the glass, in case you guys want to see this extra tiny picture of a broken. This they found at the scene.
Wish they didn't bother to find out where it came from.
This one is still my favorite. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of Solo cup. Here it is. Here's the Solo cups that they put all the blood evidence in. Totally not contaminated.
No.
But they put the blood in that and put the glass in this.
Yeah, and then the other stuff did the thing. My words, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oh my god.
The other stuff did the thing.
The swabs were sealed properly. I mean,
yeah. This is bizarre. It's so embarrassing.
I don't think the same people that were at the crime scene did the swab collection. And even then, why are you going to do swabs? Give them the shirt, cut the sleeve off the shirt, something. Now,
this could have changed. Obviously, this could have changed. But Chris told us yesterday that the pizza shop closed at 10 o'clock. It doesn't. It closes at 9:30. And he left before the pizza shop closed, a little bit before. So he a liar. Or the hours changed, but I prefer the fact that he a liar.
They just don't have any conception of time whatsoever.
This is this a good picture? Is this a good picture? This is the picture of the police pulling into John O'Keefe's driveway.
Mm-hmm.
No one's there. This is Karen where they left her car that morning. This is what they see. And it does have the broken taillight, so it's clearly missing. But let me just put this on record as well. This taillight is missing. Jen McCabe made a huge deal about how John O'Keefe bragged about his ring. They knew he had surveillance. So whatever they had planned, they kept the surveillance in mind. Just keeping that in mind, because she went out of her way to talk about how he bragged about it, and he was always, she literally said he's always watching. I'm like, creepy? What a fucking creepy thing to say. I'm glad that I said that, though. Let me show one video. Jen frames Karen live is what I've called it. I got a bunch of tabs to close. 1 second. If this lags me, just bear with me.
You're welcome, Lady Autumn Sky. I think I've spent too much time watching this week. It's like,
Jen frames Karen live. This is it.
I was at the pharmacy yesterday with an earpiece in, listening to this case. I was like, I cannot walk away for 1 second.
Especially with Jen on the stand.
Couldn't do it.
We've been wanting to hear what this bitch has to say. So let's listen to what this bitch has to say. This is just a 1-minute video. I made it last night so I could show it to you today.
Where do you park?
Can you hear it?
I pull in the straight in the driveway.
And after you pull into the driveway, at some point you all get out, correct?
Yes.
And so after the three of you get out of your respective vehicles, what happens?
Karen brings us to the back of the car and says, look, see, I have a cracked taillight.
And where on the vehicle was she directing yourself and Miss Roberts' attentions?
The back right.
So the passenger side, rear part of the vehicle.
Yes.
Bitch, what?
And when you looked at that area of the vehicle, what could you see of that?
I saw that there were missing pieces, but there was also snow covering it. And Karen was screaming, look, look. And then Kerry was screaming back at her. It was very chaotic. So I didn't stare in depth, but what I can tell you is I saw missing pieces from the taillight.
What, bitch? What? I'm sorry, because I didn't see any of that. None of that happened.
I needed to. Can you just put it back once more?
You want to watch this again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, for sure. I hope it's not too loud. It sounds really loud in my headphones. Yeah, for sure. This is her saying what happened this moment that they pulled up at the house. They're dropping her car off. They're about to run inside. These bitches take their shoes off to go in John's house.
Yeah.
Karen doesn't. But before that, she pulls up and she tells the jury that Karen's freaking out, saying, look at my taillight, then pointing at the direction, and saying, and Jen is going, come on, we don't have time for this. Let's get inside. Huh? Let's watch it again.
And when you get to Mr. O'Keefe's house, where do you park?
I pull in the straight in the driveway.
And after you pull into the driveway, at some point you all get out, correct?
Yes.
And so after the three of you get out of your respective vehicles, what happens?
Karen brings us to the back of the car and says, look, see, I have a cracked taillight.
And where on the vehicle was she directing yourself and Miss Roberts' attentions?
The back right.
So the passenger side, rear part of the vehicle.
Yes.
And when you looked at that area of the vehicle, what could you see of that?
I saw that there were missing pieces, but there was also snow covering it. And Karen was screaming, look, look. And then Kerry was screaming back at her. It was very chaotic. So I didn't stare in depth, but what I can tell you is I saw missing pieces from the taillight.
Jen, you are a lying son of a bitch.
You lying whore.
This bitch just staring at this woman across the fucking room from her and framing her for a murder right in front of her face. This shit didn't happen. How about instead of is she trying to match earlier testimony? She's so concerned with perjury that she's willing to put someone in jail so that she's not a liar. This bitch fucks dogs. I don't care who you are. That's my logic here.
Inside joke. Oh my gosh.
That's an inside joke. I'm sorry. She would rather be a dog. She'd rather be a liar because in truth, she's a dog fucker. Okay, that's a joke you guys are not going to understand, but trust me, the logic follows somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm. We get it, but you will never.
10 minutes behind. Karen didn't go by Fairview prior to picking up, and she didn't because I believe this. This is just something that I had heard before. That data was going to show, but we haven't seen it yet. We don't see it in her car, and we haven't seen that expert. So I trust you. She just lied. An idiot Lally walked her into. I know. I'm glad you said that, dude, because this is Lally. This is Commonwealth. The state is asking her to retell the story, and then the state played us the video to show us she's lying, and then they skip over it. They're like, okay, thanks for.
And the reason why Jackson is not objecting because he needs
he loves this.
Talk, bitch. Use your fucking words right now, because when I catch you, oh my gosh, he's gonna eviscerate her. I'm hoping he tears her apart.
No one stopped to look at the car. If anything, Karen looked over at the other lady. Just who knows what they said.
They were talking and they were going inside. They were not looking at the
but
back of
it's like, do you think Lally is on Team Karen? Because he goes,
he really might be, because this seems to have been a flipping defense plus. Or defense, low-key defense, if that makes sense, because nobody's mentioned Karen. No one's managed to actually. This is the only bitch they've managed to bring forward to potentially say, oh, she's possibly done it. Nobody can put her there.
No, and we showed this just a little bit ago. This text message that these kids made is fake. So they're creating this. Here it is. If you're just getting to the show, there should be in every instance, in every platform, on every device, when the date changes, even if this wasn't 12 a.m., it's just their karma is so fucked that they got this fucked. That as it should say the date changing here from 11 to 12, even if they didn't send this message until 7 p.m., it would have told you it's the next day, but it doesn't, because they lied. They made this up and they're framing this woman. Do you hear a sound? Is that your house? Is that happening at your house?
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm like, I think I'm playing a video.
No.
Okay. Oh, that's me. No, you're good. Yeah. Whew. So they are just lying. This whole family is just a family of liars. And every single person that's in this house, this girl, not related. This girl, not related. These three, not related. We'll delete the ones who aren't related. Wait, I should copy this just in case I screw something up. We're going to delete the ones who aren't related. They're not related. Wait. I took an extra person. Not related. Your car can even get fucked. Bye. Dog's related. Sarah's not related. Technically, John O'Keefe's not related. Who else is here? This dude's been dating this chick for 8 years. He's not marrying her because she's too much. And she's selfish cunt. She made him come out in the snowstorm to pick up a dog that just did a murder, and he's to plow roads. Bitch, get your priorities straight.
To realize that she wants to get married, so
yeah. Okay, so everybody else is related. I can't remember who these heads are.
Brian Higgins is one of them.
Yeah. This is probably Brian Higgins. So, yeah. I just can't believe that they lied. If you look at one point, they tried to say that they tried to say that Chris and his wife Julie were at the house. They did say it to the grand jury. I thought I had a picture. I don't have a picture of it. You want to see something cool though?
Mm-hmm.
Is this it? Yeah, citizens motion to intervene. Randazza, worlds have crossed, and Nick Recada's lawyer, Mark Randazza, has. Yeah, he's trying to. So the judge has said that they couldn't do like free Karen Reed protests and shit like that outside, and she's trying to ban it. So he's stepping in to say, on behalf of these citizens' right to for so many things, their First Amendment right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did think this was interesting. Alyssa said that she thought she heard Randazza say that Turtle Boy Aiden was his client. I didn't see that. I know it's not his lawyer. I know he's not his lawyer.
No, he's not, because he wasn't in court. the other day when that shit happened.
He's not his attorney for that, right? Because we did see his attorney, but Aiden could have signed on to this, and in that case, would that make him his representation? Because it's civil, it's a class action. I don't know. Class action. No, it's not. I just made that up. I think
he's representing the people. He's not representing Talboy.
Okay, yeah. So I don't understand that tidbit. I didn't really have a lot of time to look into it. Did we cover everything? I showed you Jen lying about the tailgate. I showed you the pieces. I showed you the fake text message. Those are important for me to like say. I didn't want him to like die with me. I think that's it.
Just I think that's it really. Just colonoscopy in his videos with these aggressive, threatening videos that he sent out to the hockey team.
Mm-hmm. Not only the hockey team, he didn't even play on the hockey team. He was that aggressive. He was gonna bang somebody from a team he didn't even lose to. He doesn't even play. Some bitches that they were talking about our girls, and so we thought we'd kill them. Wait, what? Okay, that's an interesting thing to say, Colin. Fuck off. I just went through the folder again. I don't see anything. That I have these messages that I think this might have even come from Total Boy's website. This is allegedly, no, I can't confirm this, from the brother. And the other person is trying to keep the brother open-minded. And the brother, he's like, to believe the text message, guys, to believe that there was a frame, you have to really understand the evil. He said, I'm grateful you're here. We don't know what he's responding to with this message.
Screens up, you're going to... But Puffer just put in the chat, he trips and catches himself on his knuckles. LOL. Seriously? Yes. How do you land on the back of your knuckles? I really don't understand that. I've fallen many a time. If you know me, I've fallen. Oh, how do you get your knuckles involved?
I mean, I have no idea. That's the dumbest excuse he could have ever had. It was so silly. And his next excuse was he was on the punching bag. And he was like, why were you hitting the punching bag with only one hand? That's what Nova was pointing out earlier. Like, no one does that. No one's just hitting the heavy bag with just the one hand. It's silly.
Unless he's practicing to get a certain move in. Or if he's been practicing on someone's face. I don't know. You know what I
mean. And then the fact that Matt McCabe woke up to Jen screaming.
Yeah.
And then the next day he had to fix it. He's like, not Jen screaming that I thought was Jen. That wasn't Jen, because you told me last night that I wasn't allowed to say that on the record. That was a different scream. That was Karen's scream. So Karen was screaming so loud that tell me again why Brian Sr. doesn't wake up. The 30-year veteran cop with a guard dog in his room, and the lights going, and the chaos on his front lawn, and the woman screaming.
Everyone in his house was sedated. The dog was sedated. Him and his wife.
What? It's just bizarre to me that none of them were like, I was so drunk, I don't remember. It's 2 years ago, and I was drunk, I don't remember. How about that? That's what...
It's not part of this whole the prosecution's talking points. Honesty left the chat.
Oh. Yeah, I don't even know. Wait, what'd you say?
Honesty left the chat. It's not a part of it.
Honesty left the chat.
Yeah,
it's never been here. It did not get an invitation or the address. Puffer says, when do we get to hear from the neighbors? The Asians?
The people across the road.
All the neighbors are cops.
Defense witnesses, maybe, because I heard as well that the neighbors aren't handing over the doorbell footage.
Well, the neighbor across the way is a cop. And supposedly they have rings, but they don't pay for the recording service. So there's no storage. I don't know, dude. I don't use Ring.
Neither do I, but I'm hearing bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't sound believable. But also, why... this is all nothing we've heard, but it's an allegedly that got brought up as they were trying to get evidence from this case, that the state was trying to block them from getting certain footages, like the library. And when they finally got the library, it's missing the time that it's supposed to have.
Yeah.
Colin driving by, for instance.
And Jen and Matt and everybody else, a few others, I think, it's filed so that they didn't want to testify. They did not want to. They were trying to get out of appearing in court.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because Brian Albert told us that he's like, did John O'Keefe ever go into your house? Like,
I
no.
wish.
Did they ever look into your house? Did they investigate? He's like, no, I wish they would. You do. Because when they tried to get your cell phone, you fought it based on your personal rights. When they tried to look at your dog's fucking rehoming records, you fought it. So you wished they would. Then why did you fight it so hard so they couldn't?
Yeah.
You lying son of a bitch. Because he was upstairs doing sex with Higgins when John O'Keefe came in and was like, yo, I didn't know you guys were gay.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I made all that up at the end, but I don't know. This allegedly. I feel like we don't have to say allegedly when we call these men gay at this point.
At this point.
This is all on the record.
Hookings, I've seen him hooking. So yeah.
They were just being silly little girls at the bar. What is this silly? If you watch it in mute, you're like, that's how he gets his Huggins nickname, is because he's a very handsy man. 2 other men, there's no other woman he's touching.
No.
Of course, he is trying to do sex with John O'Keefe's woman, because gay men look around and go, all right, I think the one guy here that's not gay is doing it right. I'm going to try to fuck his bitch. That's how gays work. The closeted gays, not the regular gays. I don't mean to offend anybody. I should probably just end the show at this moment.
No, we need to go through chat first.
Brian Albert outside security lights weren't working because as a cop, he doesn't bother with security measures.
As a ex
Marine?
Army, ex-Marines, they don't even bother with lighting up the flagpole at night either. You know.
I know. Thank you for saying that. Flag code in the United States says that if you fly a flag at night, it has to have a light on it.
Yeah.
So there's no light, not even a solar one on your flag. You know what? He should be banned from ever owning flags for being so blatant as far as lying on the stand. I think they should be banned from owning flags. They really make them look bad.
They've just come out and said on the stand. I'm like, dude, that still isn't legal.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, they've ruined this whole trial has ruined my like fantasy side of my mind. This is just a joke, but like the part of me who's like dragons are real and assassins are real and like the mafia is still operating and all of that. There's no assassins, because if there was an assassin watching this case when Jen is testifying, if I'm an assassin and I'm watching Jen, I'm doing this one for free, pro bono. This bitch is about to go. So you're just gonna lie? So assassins aren't real. Dragons probably aren't real either.
And so are unicorns.
Unicorns is real.
Unicorns is real.
As an accused gay, that offends me. I don't care about the whole day pleasure out of not an excuse to lie. It is if you're man's man. They do not want anyone to know that they are doing it in that. Oh. He was disgracing flag code. Exactly. And Marine doesn't know how to hand-to-hand combat. I know what you're thinking about. They was hand-to-hand combating. Gross, Noma. Combat. No, we know what you meant.
Mm-hmm. Correcting yourself. I see
you. Leaf blower guy probably handed it over so they could cover their footprints. Oh, that's a good thought.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that the defense doesn't have to prove this. They just have to say, could it have been the dog? I don't know. We didn't look. Well, could it have been a fight? I don't know. We didn't look. Like at some point, you just have to raise enough reasonable doubt that it's like they don't have to solve it. And I think that's where it gets difficult for us, because we are picking up the defense's pieces as crumbs to solve a murder, which it's not. It's crumbs to raise reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So their crumbs don't make a sandwich. Their crumbs just make a mess, and you can't accuse somebody of this mess. It's the whole like better to let 1,000 guilty persons free than to put one innocent in jail. This is that argument happening in front of us. That's what reasonable doubt is. It's for us. For when the cops do a shitty job, that's why they're trained. When they're like, we don't know how to do evidence, you don't. Okay, I guess then all of your cases just can get out the fucking door. Like they take certain measures for this reason, so that there's no question when it comes down to needing to put a murderer behind bars. It's silly. It's so silly. If everyone came out about manhole love, no one would believe they did this, or better odds. Exactly. They could be like, we were just doing gay stuff. Gays don't murder. And they'd be like, you know what? Gays don't murder. They just love sex. I should have ended this show 5 minutes ago when I said.
Just don't respond to Puffer. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah, I love Puffer. She's the one that brings out the deviance in me. I lost Rumble chat, so I don't know what's happening over there.
I think
Don't be sorry, Puffer. You're the best. You're the best.
Love you, girl.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Do you want to tell the chat that you're best friends with Karen Reed's sister?
Hey, sorry. I'll speak to her sometime.
She an insider. She know people.
Her name's Kelly. But
She looks. She has Karen's face.
Maintain some privacy and shit.
Basically, we know people up in here. I kind of have to pee. I drank this whole Grim Leafer this morning. I got all my vitamins.
Well done.
I tried drinking these. This is like my 4th one. I tried drinking them all week. I've never finished one yet. And I took all day to try to finish one. We've been here for 2 hours and I'm like, I got a drinking problem. I'm like these. Am I an Albert? Shit.
Oh no.
Did I do this? Did I kill John? I almost called him John Reed. That was not.
Yeah.
At least I didn't call him John McCabe. Okay, how about the fact that this bitch is named McCabe and she names her daughter Allie? I think it's weird to call her daughter Allie McCabe. It's like Allie McBeal, but not.
Yeah. Allison, no, it's Allison.
Same answer from me.
Yeah.
Dude, that same city just had a 3.6 earthquake. So they've had a 4.0, 2 3.5s, and 3.6 just since we've been here. There's probably, okay, breaking news, y'all. A volcano has just been burst in California. And it's going to...
There's a glitch in the data. I don't know.
She love us. I love you.
I love you.
Pistachio latte.
Who's that? I don't like pistachio. So.
You say, who's that?
Yeah, it's YouTube. I don't know something called pistachio latte.
Thanks for streaming. It was good to see you too. Sometimes. Aw, thanks. I do have a lot of questions about this. It is so interesting when they lie. God, it's interesting when they lie. I'm just trying to paint a picture. Say it again.
It's a question just coming in.
Why hasn't God ruled or rained sulfur down? Because, well,
I think we're waiting for I think you might be waiting for the verdict to see if the jury needs to be gone as well. Some people might be worth saving.
Well, with this much rampant homosexuality, you know how the world feels about Sodom. I actually, no, we're not going to get into my theology on this one. I've lost enough friends today. Is there anything you want to add before we end this?
Not particularly. Anything can wait till probably next week. Actually,
yeah.
No, there's only 1 half day next week. My eyes just hurt. I opened them too.
Well, so as we get more, like maybe next week, maybe it'll be another 2 weeks, but we will come back here again and get through and do this again.
Yeah.
We'll go through it again live with chat helping us. Puffer said she loves your hair. So do I. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We really are going to get out of here. Share my videos. I'm uploading the full testimony, no breaks, no commercials, no commentary. If I could, I cut out the long pauses, the sidebars, because who fucking needs to be in there for any of that? Brian Albert Sr.'s testimony was 4 hours and 25 minutes. It was forever. It took me forever. I did Jen McCabe's yesterday. I have her first 2 hours and 25 minutes already in order and recorded and ready to be put out. So as soon as she testifies on Tuesday, by hopefully Wednesday morning, I'll have her full testimony out. So subscribe and share it out so people could really get their eyes. I want the behavior panel to watch Jen testify. Oh my God, she's just a billboard of lies.
She's just something else.
It's crazy. She's like confirming, she's watching, she's going, okay, I made it. She's saying no or saying yes while shaking her head. No, it's just everything about Jen McCabe. And I'm not a professional, but she's a liar.
She's a crazy liar at that.
4 hours and I don't remember. I'm usually like this, Puffer. I'm usually like this. So it's when it starts sticking is when I feel like I should pay attention. All right. Thank you for joining me beautifully. I love having you around. I love doing this. All right. Thank you, chat. We will see you in another earthquake just happened in that same place. I got to go. There's too many earthquakes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.